Welcome back to Living Local. Unlike the average family pet, police dogs are highly trained animals, specifically skilled to assist law enforcement. Today we are joined by Sergeant David Rummery and also Canine Argo with the East Moline Police Department. Thank you so much for introducing us to Argo, Sergeant.
Yeah, thanks for coming out with us.
So can you introduce us to Argo? Tell us a little bit about him and his training and certifications.
Absolutely. So Argo is a 4.5-year-old German Shepherd. He's actually coming to us from Slovakia as an import. He came to us as a 14-month-old canine. When he did that, he came completely untrained. So we get about 2 weeks to a month to kind of bond with the canine to establish a relationship as a handler. And once that's done, we go to a 10-week certification course with the Illinois State Police Academy, which he gets to learn everything that he's trained to do on the street.
So Sergeant Rummery, can you tell us about the duties that are involved with a canine unit?
Absolutely. So Argo is what we call a full service or a dual purpose canine, and what that means is he's trained to alert and detect narcotics. He can track and locate missing persons and suspects. He can find evidence that's been discarded by a possible suspect or related to a crime, and he can do building searches, criminal apprehension, and he can protect me as a handler.
Now, what does a typical day in the life of Argo look like?
So Argo does get to go home with me, so he stays at the house part of the day, and when I work, he works. When I'm done for the day, he's done for the day. I'm his only handler, so when we get ready for shift, there's a bit of a time getting him prepped and getting into a mindset by doing some obedience, doing some drills to burn some energy off. He's a very active dog, so we like to kind of keep him busy and keep his mind working pretty hard. So after that's done, we usually assist other officers in narcotic searches, tracking persons, missing persons, suspects, and doing things ourselves to initiate activity to maybe locate narcotics or to help deter crime.
Now, when Argo is off duty, what is his life like?
It's pretty relaxed. So he has a full kennel system all to himself. He's pretty spoiled in there with heat control for the winter and plenty of food and water. He gets regular vet care when we're off duty and gets to go get his dog food, which is donated to us. So he gets to go out and do things like this, meet and socialize with people, and gets to spend time with our family.
Now, I noticed that you were speaking German to Argo, so explain a little bit about why you use a different language and maybe what that process was like for you to learn those different commands.
Yes, it's definitely a little different. I've had house dogs for my entire life that have understood English commands, but depending on where you train, the canines are typically trained in different languages. Not only does that maybe reinforce some training that they had in another country or when their origin came from, but they can use those commands to maybe decipher a difference between something that I'm telling the canine to do versus telling another person, another citizen, or a suspect to do too.
Now, can you tell us a little bit, Sergeant Rummery, what does the selection process look like for getting a canine on the force?
Sure. So a lot of it depends on what the needs are for the department, the type of handler that's selected to utilize that canine and become part of the team. We select canines, especially both trained and untrained dogs, for sociability, being involved with people. You notice that he's fine with you right now. They have a very high play and toy and prey drive, which allows them to do their job very, very hard and for a very extended amount of time. And then we also select them for their ability to protect themselves and to be fairly active in defense, both for themselves and their handler.
Now, what attracted you to being a canine officer?
I think our department's actually had a really good storied history for canines. So East Moline is one of the first departments in the area to produce a canine program, and that started back in 1925. So during those, obviously the goals and uses for the canine have changed a little bit. They've always been utilized to track people, locate missing persons, to use for more serious crimes and apprehending suspects and deterring through the use of a forceful dog. So with that, the canine program has evolved a little bit to include the use for narcotics detection. So when we select the canines, we have been pretty consistent in finding great dogs and dogs that want to work very, very well and very hard. So I think giving me an opportunity to continue that tradition for our department's been a phenomenal job.
And last question for you, what value do you think canine units bring when it comes to protecting and serving our community?
I think that's definitely a multifold approach. So not only do canines have a larger group of senses that are heightened compared to humans. They can use them for those aspects, but they're a huge talking point. They're a great public relations tool. We do lots of demonstrations and public events that get the canine out, get kids and adults alike to meet the canine, see what it's about, and it's a great way as a public relations and community policing tool to get people connected with police departments in a positive light.
Well, Sergeant Romery, thank you so much for all the information and for introducing us to Canine Argo.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, you guys, for more information, you can find the City of East Moline Police Department on Facebook. More Living Local continues after this.